listening to the Tiny Vet podcast with me, Dr. Nicole Sue, and my fiance who is planning something.
Yeah, her fiance Jez was. Hey, did you know that owls eat whole mice and then spit out a soggy mouse ball of undigested skin and bones that sits on the kitchen floor? I didn't know that until I picked one up. Anyway, what's the topic today? Hello.
They're called owl pellets, and
They're called owl pellets?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Well, they're soggy mouse balls is what they are.
And I used to rehab owls.
Yeah, this is what you get when you live with a vet. Sometimes there's a surprise owl.
Owls.
Yeah.
They're very cute. I used to collect a bunch of boo-book owls, so they come in injured and stuff. I rehab them, and then I drive them down to a big rehab center down south, about 3 hours drive. So towards the end of the cycle, there will be quite a few owls.
Yes, I've met many an owl, which are surprisingly dumb.
They're not smart.
They have
owls are pretty dumb.
Owls have got a really good marketing department because they're presented as very smart.
They're not.
Very wise.
They're really dim.
Their collective noun is a parliament of owls. But they are the dumbest birds I've ever met. And I've now met a lot of birds.
You now have met a lot. So I think there is a description of owls. A pillowcase filled with rage. And that's pretty accurate.
That's my description for you also.
Yeah. They're very cute, though.
Yeah, all right. Listen, maybe the soggy mouse balls have biased me against
them. They're so cute. Big eyes. They're little heads.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
Positive reinforcement training.
Okay.
So that is where...
Good little mouse ball creator.
Yes. 100%.
Make more mouse balls.
Make more mouse balls. That's how you're going to make weight so you can go to rehab.
Okay.
Yeah. So positive reinforcement training essentially is a training method where there's no punishment. What you do is that you reward behaviors that you want, and yep, you've heard me doing this, and you ignore behaviors you don't want.
Yes.
He's saying that because yes is Rocky, my horse's good boy word.
Yeah, she also uses it for me when she forgets I'm not a horse, which I actually get a little offended at. That she's trying to, Rocky's, I don't know, owls are stupid. Rocky's dumber than any owl I've ever met. But, the fact she's using these, basic animal training techniques on me, she'll give me clicking and it's no good. I'm a person. I know, much to your chagrin, I'm a person.
It's a very good method of training.
Yeah, all right.
Very humane because obviously there's no punishment. It's all reward based, and then what you're doing is that you are increasing their likelihood of performing the wanted behavior through positive reinforcement, and decreasing the likelihood of performing unwanted behavior because that doesn't get them anywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
So, for example, one really common one that I get is, how do I get my dog to stop barking at the doorbell? What you do is, when they hear the doorbell, you use the command sit or lie down. And what they're going to start doing is that once they start hearing the doorbell, they're going to sit or lie down instead
of barking.
Yeah.
They hear the doorbell, they're like, I've got to react to this.
Yes.
But you teach them, hey, this is the reaction
that's appropriate
for the stimulus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
So when they're barking, they're carrying on, you ignore them, and then as soon as they sit, good dog.
Right.
And they go, I see.
My cousin Nat, if you're listening to this, use that.
She went to a trainer, though. I hope Luna's doing well.
Yes.
Yes. And the nice thing with this kind of method is you can kind of train anything with it. There are people out there that have trained goldfish. They've trained tortoises. Comedians. Really dumb horses. But you can pretty much train everything with this, and you can train almost everything with this to perform almost any behavior they can perform.
Yeah, okay.
So what you can use this for as well is shaping. So those the pets that can do crazy tricks, the dogs that have learned how to paint pictures and stuff like that.
I didn't know about dogs painting pictures.
Yeah, dogs can paint. It's amazing.
Is the painting of dogs playing poker actually painted by a dog?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah, not many people know this.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, the training session for that was insane.
Artwork a lot more. I used to think it was pretty hacky art. But if it was painted by the dogs, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Self-portrait.
Yeah, each dog painted their own little dog.
Sure.
But yeah, you can use it to shape behavior. So... Teaching a dog to paint, a picture sounds crazy, but actually if you break it up into little steps, you can teach a dog to paint a picture. So step one, teaching the dog to pick up the paintbrush and hold it in their mouth.
Right.
And you get good dog. Fantastic.
Yep.
And then once they have mastered that one, then you teach a dog to, when they're holding the paintbrush, to touch the end of the paintbrush to a surface. Okay. Fantastic. Good dog. Well done. And then step 3 is teaching them, all right, well, we now know how to do that and touch it to the surface. In between doing that and touching it to the surface, when they have the paintbrush, dip it in some paint. And then so on and so forth. And you can shape that behavior until at the end of the day, they're actually painting a picture.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you can use positive reinforcement to train incredible behaviors. If you go online, you'll see people teaching African greys, so African grey parrots.
They're like real smart ones.
Yeah. I mean, most parrots are, to be honest. But they can demonstrate that they know they're not just mimicking. So you can show an African grey parrot an object. Let's say it is a red bell, a red metal bell.
Okay.
And depending on the question you ask, so what material? So they go metal. What color? Red. What object? Bell.
Right.
Kind of thing. So this is all done using positive reinforcement training. So a really, really good method of training. And one of the reasons why I'm so crazy about this method of training is Rocky used to be what we call girthy. Oh, that's a bit rude, isn't it?
He used to be a big fat horse?
He used to not like it when his saddle and all that was put on.
Okay.
Yeah, and he, bare his teeth and get really upset and all that, and I use positive reinforcement training to have him stand still while I'm doing all of that, and now in the bits where he used to get upset, instead he asks for a carrot.
Yeah, he does ask for a lot of carrots.
He asks for a lot of carrots because he knows I'm being good. I normally get a treat.
I think as well, he knows you're always willing to spoil him,
that's part of it.
I think every pet you've ever had knows treats are coming soon.
Yeah, it's great. So basically, instead of being annoyed, he just goes, treat, please.
Yeah, sure.
And he gets a treat. It's a bit embarrassing now because I also positively reinforce him to stand still when I'm mounting, and that means as soon as I put my foot in the stirrup, his big head comes around and asks for a treat.
Aww.
And people are like, why is your horse bending when you get on? I'm like, no reason.
Love that the episode that we recorded before this is like, keep your animals thin, and then the next episode you're like, I fatten them up constantly.
The Tiny Vet Podcast is brought to you by Upilio. Sources for our topics can be found at upilio.io. Outro music by Matt Charleston.